Welcome back to another episode of Ask Ray. I'm Ray. I'm the host of this channel. I'm the host of this series on this channel. If you have a question for me, please. Oh man, it's been a long couple days being stuck inside. If you have a question for me or something that you want me to elaborate on, please feel free to leave it down below in the comments of this video, and I'll be sure to square you away in a future video, alright? Do you collect anything? Maybe not guitar related? Always curious about my non-mask collector friends' collections. Well, guys, real quick I have to say, if you haven't subscribed to the House of Masks, phenomenal channel, one of my favorite channels, please go ahead and do that. Tell them Ray sent you. I'd appreciate it. I'm sure AJ would as well. Now to that question, I used to collect a lot of stuff when I was younger. I used to collect baseball cards, Pokemon cards, Dragon Ball Z, action figures, Dragon Ball Z cards, you know, just a lot of the typical stuff that kids collect, I guess. But nowadays, man, it's few and far between in terms of what I actually collect. I collect some guitars. I wouldn't even say I'm a guitar collector. I'm more or less a guitar player. But yeah, no, I don't really collect too much anymore just because whenever I do something, I always do it like 1000%. Like, I'm not a casual doer of anything. Like, I always have to be full on 110% and no matter what I'm doing. So like, if I was to get into another collecting hobby or just a hobby in general, I'd be going, 110%, and that just eats up time. I mean, you guys know that. So no, I don't really collect too much anymore, but I used to be knee deep, neck deep in like the baseball collecting, football card collecting, Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon, etc., etc. But yeah, those days have since been put on hold, and maybe one day when I have a child, if I have a child, who knows, maybe I'll get back into that. There you go. Hey, it's Robert Baker. I don't know if you guys can see that. I was checking out Robert Baker's videos, binge watching them while I'm stuck here inside. But next question. Hey Ray, love the channel. What are your thoughts on Periphery? So I'm like a Periphery hipster in the sense that like I found Periphery pretty early on, like 2009, and I love P1, and then even P2 was pretty sick too. And then once like the double album came out, what was that called? Omega and Juggernaut, something like that. I don't even remember. But yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. The two albums that came out back to back, and then P3 following that, they really started to blow up, and it was great. But like, I always like was kind of egotistical, be like, oh, I knew Periphery back in the day, before everybody else. But that's just me being ignorant and just being like, like I said, like a hipster. Long story short, I love Periphery, man. I really do. I love their old stuff, and I love P3 in particular. P3 is really good, man. I think it's like the perfect balance of like heaviness and melody. P1's just like full on gent for the most part. And yeah, just P3 is just like that fine balance of ambience and somberness and mellowness as well. Mellowness, if that's a word, as well as the heavy stuff. So yeah, I love Periphery. I really do, man. Great band. I thought that you are done with Gibsons and that you got rid of all of them. So I've gotten this question a lot ever since summer of 2019. For those of you who don't know, I sold all my new Gibsons like from 2014 to 2019. I had like two or three. Because Dean and Gibson were in the whole lawsuit battle. Gibson, obviously you guys know this, started suing and is continuing to sue and cease and desist a bunch of companies for their guitar shapes, and I didn't like that. But at the same time, I wouldn't sell, like right there, my 1978 Les Paul Custom just because the new CEO of 2019 and 2020 is like doing, annoying stuff. Like that, I don't think I should punish myself and get rid of a collector's item right there that's like 40 plus years old, just for the sake of doing it. I think that would be foolish on my end. That being said, I didn't want to play and be associated with the new kind of vibe, the new brand. I don't know when the new age starts, what year for me would be acceptable. I don't know, man. I didn't want to play the new Gibsons. There's a lot of great companies out there. Kiesel, Balaguer, Dean, the companies that support our channel, that dig, what we're into. And so I didn't want to play anything new. But yeah, I still play like my 92, my dad's, my 78, and there's another one that's a surprise that I've had for a while. I haven't showed the channel yet. But I still play the older Gibsons just because they sound great, and there's a lot of American history in Gibson, so I love them for that. Yo, Ray, what's up? I'm trying to get back into theory. Can you recommend anything? I would just learn the fretboard. I've said it a million times, learn the fretboard. For whatever reason, metal guitar players and rock guitar players have zero comprehension, generally. I'm not speaking to individuals. no comprehension and understanding of the fretboard in terms of the notes and the shapes that are on the fretboard. And it's really weird, and I was guilty of that for a long time until I figured it out, and I had to do it for a grade. And then I realized why I needed that, and I was kicking myself for not spending more time on that. Yeah, man, so just learn the fretboard. Whatever tuning you're in, I recommend standard. I recommend standard, whether it's a 6-string, 7-string, or 8-string. Just standard is the go-to, man. It's standard for a reason. And then once you get that, then you can start to understand theory and understand how music works. Not even on a guitar level, but just in music in general. So that'd be my starting point for sure, man. Also, too, if you guys don't know this, I do individual lessons, one-on-one lessons via Patreon. There's a couple of tiers, once a month, once a week, different price points for that. But if you guys are interested in doing one-on-one lessons with me, I'd be more than happy to help teach you the guitar and teach it in a way that is applicable to metal. Bunch of home guitar players equal to a guitar community. Not really sure what that means. WTF, don't overestimate guitar players. You are nothing unless you are paid for playing your guitar. Wake up, everyone. So this was in regards to, I said how the guitar drama saved the community, and this gentleman, John Ka, didn't agree with that. Didn't agree with my statements. And he's saying that you are nothing unless you get paid to play the guitar. And so that's interesting, and it's kind of weird. I'd like to elaborate on that. You're nothing unless you're paid to play the guitar is a complete ridiculous statement, because not everybody, let's say Eddie Van Halen, one of the arguably the richest guitar player of all time, give or take. For a long time in his life, he never made a cent playing the guitar when he was learning and when he was playing clubs, and until he got signed and Van Halen took off, he wasn't making any money. So if Van Halen, for example, didn't play the guitar because he wasn't getting paid, if he just hung it up, hung up the cleats and was like, well, I'm not getting paid, I guess I'm not anything, there'd be no guitar players. So that gentleman's a little misinformed, I do believe. Another thing is the guitar community on the internet, if you will. There's a lot of people make a lot of money. Make a lot of money on the internet playing guitar, man, with their YouTube and their Patreon and their Instagram. I mean, the industry has certainly changed, where we're not playing stadiums and, playing, touring with the Crew in '83, you know what I mean? People do it from home now, and people stream, and people do videos and do content, and they get paid through ad sponsorships, through Patreon, through endorsements, through brand sponsorships, etc., etc. So, there's a lot of people that make money. I don't know if that gentleman's talking to me saying I'm nothing, but I do make money, and a lot of people make a lot more money than me. So, for anybody that's watching, don't be deterred because you're not making money, and you're not making this a career yet. Because guess what? At one point in time, I wasn't making money, and I'm still, nowhere near where I would like to be. It's not all about money, but it is nice, and it helps me, eat, for example, and pay my cell phone bill. So if you're not making money right now, don't be deterred, and don't let people such as this gentleman tell you otherwise. Just because you're not making money doesn't mean anything right now. And last question here. Hey Ray, what's up, dude? Love this video. Any type of Gibson Les Paul Custom is just an incredible looking guitar. I agree. What program did you use to program your drums, man? All right, so I use Superior Drummer 3, and I have been for over 2 years now, I think. And it's great, man. More often than not, I'll just use the Groove Creator, if that's even what it's called in Superior Drummer 3. But I also program them myself by taking the MIDI notes and, dealing with the, what's that called? The velocity, that's what it's called. The velocity. Yeah, I'll program them myself. More often than not, especially with my breakdowns and stuff like that, I have a breakdown in mind, and I'll take the MIDI notes and I'll program them. But it's all done through Superior Drummer 3, and that's what I use. So guys, thank you so much for watching. That's going to do it for this episode. Again, if you have a question or comment for me, please feel free to leave it down below. Again, one more time, if I haven't gotten to your question in the past, please don't take it personal. If you want to, feel free to ask it again. I'd be more than ecstatic that you do. It just helps out this video series keep going, and I appreciate you guys all the same. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. Continuing to support my channel and our channel. I am out of here, guys. Stay metal, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.